Listen, you know me, I could care. We could go to Wiener Schnitzel. So, like, whatever.
I don't, not for my birthday, no.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing my best.
Well, what a week it's been.
I'm just going to cry. Is that cool?
Yeah.
I was like, maybe we have to rename the podcast.
Oh, I know.
I don't think anyone is doing their best, except maybe Dr. Truesdale.
We have a guest later, which we allude to it sort of being a hard turn, just to talk about something that's like fun and frivolous and, which kind of seems wild, I guess, in light of all the fucking shit that's going on. But here is what I've learned over the past many years. Like, you couldn't even do a podcast or a TV show, or if you paused for every development. It's so fast and furious now, everything that's happening, and it's so overwhelming.
Mm-hmm. It is. It really is.
So overwhelming. And you feel guilty for taking time to, like, put on lip gloss or whatever the fuck it is you're doing. Eat a hamburger. And it's also so weird and wild the way that the world is now, that that we're kind of watching these things unfold in real time, and we can't do anything to stop them.
No, and apparently no one else can either. I don't know.
Right.
Well, I was bummed on Saturday that, like, obviously my flight situation with bringing Birdie back from school was planned months and months ago,
right,
when we were coming back from Sweden.
Yeah.
And so I missed all of the protest marches and stuff because I was bringing 6 giant suitcases and my child back from boarding school. And I was really sad, truly, to miss it because so many of my friends and everybody that I know that was out in those streets actually felt it seems to me a lot of people felt very buoyed. I like that word, and I don't use it that much, but they felt very buoyed by the sense of community and by the showing of people. I was on an airplane, like, refreshing with bad internet, where also, by the way, my credit card got stolen, which I want to just say, I just want to say this because this is like a crazy thing that I didn't know. Sometimes, guys, when I'm very stressed out about, and I was like refreshing like the breaking news of the assassination, and it was just horrible in Minnesota, and Israel and Iran, like striking Iran, and then the protest marches, and I'm texting with my friends at the ACLU asking them, like, how's everything going? Because I'm like, on an airplane. So I'm like, I'm trying to like figure out what, And so then I'm like, I gotta shop.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, this is like, we're talking to a plastic surgeon today who does deep plane facelifts that we love and brings us a lot of, I was going to say like cognitive dissonance online, but like it is like, it's like an escapism, to like, and so for me sometimes, and I know because I have done a lot of therapy, like one of my things that like, it's not the healthiest thing. It's very common with people like with ADHD. It's very common with lots of people. I'm just going to shop. And so I was like, I'm going to buy myself like a cute outfit for my birthday party, my New York birthday party. And just be careful, guys, if you're using a credit card to buy online when you're on like a shared internet on an airplane.
Oh.
So, because last night, I got like a fraud alert for like the weirdest charges. And it's like this credit card I rarely use too.
Okay.
And when I talked to the bank, she was like going through these charges, and like then she got to the one that I had made on the airplane, and I was like, yeah, that's me. And she was like, where did you make this charge? Like, she's like, did anyone else have your card? Did anyone da 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 da? And I was like, no. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I did it on an airplane. And she's like, oh, that's it. She's like, that happened to me before, actually. She's like, it's common. She's like, it's very common. So I'm just saying this as a PSA to you guys. If you're on an airplane and you don't know what's happening politically in the world and you try to distract yourself with shopping, maybe don't.
Just add to cart, but don't.
Add to cart, don't check out.
Don't check out.
Because, honey, that credit card was snabbed. It was snabbed by a bad actor on that airplane, which is so fucking annoying. Come on, guys.
So annoying. And like legitimately, everything, so much is a scam. Like I'm always getting texts and emails about how like my McAfee software malware protection is expiring. And I'm like, I don't have it. I don't know what you're saying. And then I just feel like 100 years old when I'm like, is this real? I just got a text saying that I owe a toll in Connecticut where I have not been in 7 years. And they're like, click here and pay it or you're in big trouble.
I bet you don't.
Well, I didn't click there, but I did copy the text message. And then I added the link to my browser and it appears that I do owe $6.99. But I'm like, why did it take you 7 years to text me about it? Like, you're doing okay without my $6.99? I don't know. I'm just like, the amount of scams and how easy they are. And like, I really miss a paper bill. I don't want us to go into a crypto society or, like I can't even handle. I can't, I'm still befuddled by electronic billing at least. Or, it's too much.
Stop.
It's too much.
Gina, stop. Gina is okay, but she's like, I got back and then she was constipated again. She was just like, I'm like, what is going on? Ugh.
She's not drinking enough.
She never drinks enough water. She's like me. I said stop scratching. There are better ways to get our attention, ma'am. Oh, now she's sad. Her tail went down. But she can't scratch.
No, I know.
She hits us. She punches us. She just wants attention like everybody.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I mean,
I've cried a lot.
The protest was very moving. And,
well, can I be honest with you? This is the other thing. Like my friend at the ACLU said to me when I was like, oh, I'm so upset. And I was trying to figure out if there was a way I could fly in. Well, this is the earliest I can get in and da 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 da. And she's like, busy, there will be more.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah. Okay.
That's what I thought. But it was very moving to see. And I was so happy that for the most part, everything was peaceful. And, that being said, I know there were some instances of violence and lives lost across the United States. I cannot believe that this is the time that we're living in when someone from Project Runway can get killed at a demonstration.
Wait, what happened? I don't know about this.
Yeah, a Project Runway contestant.
What are you talking? What? I don't even know this.
In addition to the lawmakers in Minnesota, who were killed.
Wait, I don't know about this.
I cannot believe that this is where we are at. Protester killed at Utah No Kings rally was fashion designer from Project Runway. I did not know him. The man shot and killed while participating in the No Kings protest in Salt Lake City was a successful fashion designer and former Project Runway contestant who devoted his life to celebrating artists from the Pacific Islands. Arthur Folasa Alu, 39, was killed Saturday night. when two men shot at a person brandishing a rifle at demonstrators, and one accidentally struck Alu in the stomach, authorities said. He later died at the hospital.
Are you fucking kidding me?
It's just, I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. You know, I've just been like, of course, like pinging back and forth, like texting people, texting our friend Dr. Jen, checking in with her, letting her check in with me, texting all the group chats. You don't want to like overwhelm people, but also you want to like be in community with your people.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. And now, you know, I guess our president left the G7 early. Nobody knows why. I guess he didn't like how it was going.
Right. Well, he's saying that it's he was saying it was to deal with the
Middle East.
The Middle East, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I'm looking at this.
So this president that, you know, I mean, I guess ran on being a no wars president wasn't going to get us into any wars, if you believed that for 1 second. I guess today is a hard day for you, maybe. I don't know. Probably not. You probably don't
fucking care.
Yeah, I'm very nervous, especially as someone with you know, kids the age that if they were to institute a draft, they're right there in that age, you know.
Who's saying that they're going to institute a draft?
I mean, why wouldn't they? They've done every other fucking crazy thing that everybody said they wouldn't do. So, you know, like, who knows? Who knows? Because I get the feeling that it's all about power and resources and money. So instituting a draft, it seems like in a way would be like a good moneymaker. Like you have to train those guys somewhere and girls, outfit them and give them weapons and all of that. So that seems like a way to generate income for someone.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't think it. I wouldn't believe it to be true, but like I just feel like all bets are off with this team, you know?
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah. Anyway, the last thing I want to do is like add to anyone's anxiety because like I know I just saw someone was like, people tell me to stop doom scrolling. I'm not even scrolling. I just open my phone and the doom is there. It's right there. You know, no scrolling needed. So I don't want to be like the podcast version of doom scrolling. I just want to say that I know it's a hard time. I know everyone's thoughts are going in a million directions. I think that's probably at least part of the point, right? To scare everyone and get everyone to react. But also like knowing that like this shit is real. It's not a joke. It's happening. Don't hold your breath for apologies from anyone that told you that you were overreacting at any point and that you should calm down and just chill out and that he was all talk, you know? But I just also don't know what good it does for me to like barf my anxiety out onto anyone about all of this. And I'd rather be like a place that gives you a break from doom scrolling and like the thoughts that are running through your mind that you're having a hard time stopping. We're here together now. I see your anxiety. I acknowledge it. I have it too, but you know, I just really don't know what to say, you know?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know what to say. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I'm trying to be like, ugh, I don't know. My therapist goes back to like if there's to be peace in the world, there has to be peace in your heart. If there's to be, you know, like you have to like find ways to try to regulate yourself.
Right.
That's the only thing we can do. It's the only thing we can control. Obviously, in this moment in time,
right.
It is unbelievably difficult to do that. I would say, I would offer. It feels almost impossible, especially right now.
Yeah.
To do that. You know, like what are we supposed? Like what are we? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what we're supposed to do. I don't know if there is any supposed to. I feel like we have done the things that we are supposed to do, that we know of as like citizens and people. And I don't really know that, you know, I don't know that there's a checklist. I don't know that we've been here before, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I do know that, you know, I know that a lot of the things that we were worried about seem like they're happening, you know, and that is hard. And then it's like you said, like the cognitive dissonance of like, okay, and then we're just here and we just do our lives and like go to our jobs if we have jobs and like send our kids to school. And it is, you know, again, like I think it's part of the thing, right? To sort of like break your brains and see like, well, who falls in line and then who accepts that like some man is some kind of like genius hero for resolving something that they started or what, you know, it's just, I don't know. I can't believe that I've lived through multiple wars at this point.
Oh my God.
It's
It
wild.
seems insane. It's insane.
It's insane and really for what? And it's confusing too. It's confusing because it's like for what? Like who are we defending from what? And this is like a conflict that has raged on for so long. You know, and I just it's very confusing. It's very confusing how we could have gotten here.
Yeah. Okay, Gina, I don't know. Honey, I know you want to go for a walk. I know. I went and saw a facialist this morning because I've not been feeling great.
Yeah.
And I've been crying so much. And you know what Michelle says about that delicate under eye skin?
That's right.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? What am I supposed to do?
If you could cry out of somewhere else, I'm sure you would switch locations.
I just also like was in therapy talking about how, you know, I feel pretty heartbroken personally. I've been going through that for a minute, obviously. And then, like, the problem is, and I think a lot of people are having this, it's like whatever is happening in your personal life is compounded times 1 million if you're paying attention to the world, right?
Right, right.
And so what might have at another time, year, month, might have been something that felt more manageable or easy to move through personally, I think for a lot of people, and I'm just finding it to be true for myself, feels impossible. Just like impossible. Because it's so hard to separate all of the heartbreak and all of the disastrous behavior of humanity. You know what I'm saying? And so It's just really overwhelming.
Yeah, I think it's like, you know, I think to myself about how there have been wars and there have obviously been horrific humanitarian, egregious oppression, you know, through history. We know about these things. We've learned about them through history, that there have been times when people have done just atrocious things and where parents sent their kids off to wars knowing that, like, you know, this could be it. This is likely it. We've had war, like civil war in this country, but that's all been historic. And then it becomes a little less historic when we look at, well, I know my grandfather suffered PTSD because of his role in a couple of wars. And he died very young, but I imagine if I had ever spoken to him, I imagine there would have been a conversation where he, sort of renounced what he was asked to do, I imagine. Because, like, if you have PTSD from something and you're that horrified that you can't sleep and you can't even maybe live your life, like, I don't know, did that contribute to his early death? Probably. So it becomes like a little less historic. It becomes like part of your family story, and then I have cousins that were like in Desert Storm. And I know so many people have dads that were in Vietnam or the Korean War or whatever. And what I think we're seeing is like, we send these people to fight these wars, and like the ones that come back, like everybody's so overjoyed that like people come back from these like killing festivals that we go on with the power and the money of nations behind them. And we're so joyful when these people come back, and they don't come back the same person that they were.
Wait, do you know Birdie? Did I tell you Birdie's theory about war? What they need to revert to trench war?
Oh yeah, you did mention that. You did talk about that.
Which is kind
but
of
even like trench war, like
sure,
you survive a trench war, you don't come back the same.
No, but like war is so fucking stupid anyway. And like, why are men still allowed to just ruin everything?
And
why?
What's so wild to me is just like, we're just talking about like how overwhelming it is to get spammy and scammy texts and have your credit card stolen. And like, we've improved on so many things and automated so many things, and to the point where like we're inventing new ways to give each other a fucking hard time. And it's just so sad to me that we're not past this. And in fact, we're like even more into it more deeply than ever. That we never have been like, yeah, let's just like, I don't know, we have artificial intelligence. Why don't we put all the data in and ask it to tell us the best way to handle it? Like, I guess, I don't fucking know. Like, would that work, or would that be, I don't know. It's just the same as I'm like, why are we using AI to replace artists instead of like pre-check people for cancerous moles? Like what? Why not that?
Well, that's what I want it for.
Right.
I want it for that.
We want it for that. We want it for that, So I'm just like, we have AI. Can we ask it to like be, but no one would trust it. And it doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter about what's most fair. It doesn't matter about what's, most beneficial to all people. In fact, that's the opposite of the point, it seems like. So of course we haven't gotten better, but we're the ones that pay the price. We're the ones that are powerless to just sit and watch it happen. And all we really can do is protest. And now we're not even really allowed to do that in this country. I mean, did get away with it this most recent one, but like that right is constantly being threatened in this country now. We can't even protest. We can't even like without, that's the thing. That's what was so beautiful about the big protests this week, is that I hope everybody thought for a second, like, about how dangerous and serious that could turn. Like, I'm glad everything was peaceful for the most part. And like I said, that's not taking into account that some people were hurt and did lose their lives. But like, it very easily could have turned dangerous. And I hope that everybody knew that. I knew that, that like, yeah, everybody kind of knows like what you're supposed to do about tear gas now. Like, what a world that we live in, Anyway, like I said, I don't want to belabor this stuff. It's hard, right? I owe all of you a copay for letting me do my talk therapy with you. I don't want to add to anyone's anxiety or dread, but it's a dreadful time. It's a dreadful time.
It is. And at the same time, we have to find levity. We have to find release, even if it's getting our credit card stolen while buying ourselves a ridiculous outfit for our birthday, or our guest, or trolling our guest's Instagram incessantly and refreshing for a new facelift, deep plane facelift transformation by Dr. Truesdale.
He never misses.
He is so nice. Guys, we already talked to him. So we're going to put this interview in. But I feel like I totally would trust him with my face.
He's so cute. I mean, he did his own face.
I know. That must be like part of the deal too. Like, right? Like he talks about them being artists, but it also must come down to the fact that like, he's a really nice man with a soothing presence. And I feel like you're going to go do that, you know.
Yeah.
I like that people are being open about the work that they're doing. That would always be the way that I'm going to be. Guys. I don't think I'm getting a facelift this year. Also, I don't think I could afford it this year. But just if I save $5,000, then by the time I'm 90, I'll have enough money every year. No, but like we did want to just have we've been talking a lot about the facelifts, and Dr. Truesdale had an opening in his schedule to chat with us. And so we thought, you know what? Let's talk to him. So why don't we listen? Guys, when was the last time you actually checked the ingredients in your dishwasher pods? I'm going to tell you something horrible. They're full of chemicals and microplastics that can stay on your dishes and your silverware even after they're washed, and then you ingest them. And studies show that residue ends up inside of you, causing inflammation, obviously, gut damage, obviously, and all of the other horrible things that microplastics are doing to all of us. But I have good news for you. Blue Land's dishwasher detergent tablets are 100% plastic-free and made with certified clean ingredients that are safe for the whole family. I have made the switch completely. And let me tell you something. My dishes are spotless. My dishes are very clean, and they are very clean of bad ingredients. In case you don't know, Blue Land is on a mission to eliminate single-use plastic by reinventing cleaning essentials to be better for you and the planet, but the same powerful clean that you're used to. The idea was very simple, and it continues to be simple. They offer refillable cleaning products with a beautiful, cohesive design. Looks great on your counter, under your counter, while you're cleaning, while you're sitting there looking at the bottles. And then you fill your reusable bottles with water, you drop in the tablets, and you wait for them to dissolve. And the great news is you don't have to lug bulky cleaning supplies around on your grocery run or if you are out and about. And Blue Land products are effective and affordable. Refill tablets start at just $2.25. Blue Land was named EPA's Safer Choice Partner of the Year. From cleaning sprays and toilet bowl cleaner to dishwasher and laundry detergent tablets. I also use the laundry detergent tablets, which I kind of love too because like I always felt like with liquid, I don't know. I was just like always overdoing it. I didn't know how much to use, guys. I like that I just throw the tablet in and it works. But all of Blue Land's formulas are 100% plastic free, made with certified clean ingredients, free from chlorine, bleach, and harsh chemicals that are safe to use around your kids and your pets and your plants and yourself. I love not having to choose between the safe option and what actually gets everything clean. You can also get more savings by buying refills in bulk or setting up a subscription, which is what I did. Blue Land products are independently tested to perform alongside major brands, and Blue Land is trusted in over 1 million homes, including mine, like I just told you. Guys, I love it so much. I'm never going back. Once you know, you can't unknow, and Blue Land is here to help. Blue Land has a special offer for you, our listeners. Right now, get 15% off your first order by going to blueland.com/best. You don't want to miss it. blueland.com/best for 15% off. That's blueland.com/best. We've had this conversation so many times that I feel like I need you to understand, though, that most children's vitamins are basically just sugar, just candy in disguise. It's just like gummy candy, just candy. At least 2 teaspoons of sugar. There's unhealthy chemicals. There's gummy junk that sticks in their teeth. You know, getting your kids to brush their teeth is hard enough. You don't want to have to worry about the vitamins that you're giving them to try to keep them healthy, adding to the issues like cavities, because take it from me, it happens. But that's exactly why Haya was created. It's a pediatrician-approved, superpowered, chewable vitamin. Like I said, most children's vitamins are filled with 5 grams of sugar and can contribute to a whole variety of health issues like cavities. Haya is made with 0 sugar, 0 gummy junk, but it tastes good. And it's great for picky eaters. Haya fills in the most common gaps in modern children's diets to provide the full body nourishment kids need with a yummy taste they love. It's formulated with the help of nutritional experts. Haya is pressed with a blend of 12 organic fruits and veggies, then supercharged with 15 essential vitamins and minerals, including vitamins D, B12, C, zinc, folate, and many, many others to help support immunity, energy, brain function, mood, concentration, teeth, bones, and more. It's non-GMO, it's vegan, dairy-friendly, allergy-free, gelatin-free, nut-free, and everything else free that you can imagine. Haya is designed for kids of all ages, so you can take them too, and it's sent straight to your door so you have one less thing to worry about. Also, you get a little cute reusable bottle. It's better for the environment. The packaging is very minimal. The refills get delivered to you. Your kids can decorate the bottle with stickers that come with the bottle in the first order. Get on it, guys. We worked out a special deal with Haya for their best-selling children's vitamin. Receive 50% off your first order. 50% off your first order. To claim this deal, you got to go to hayahealth.com/busy. This deal, not available on the regular website. Go to hayahealth.com/busy and get your kids the full body nourishment they need to grow into healthy adults.
This is very exciting, everyone. Busy and I, listen, okay, I want to say this preamble. The world is crazy.
The world is crazy.
What more can we say besides that it's crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, let's take a hard left turn and invite someone who Busy and I are obsessed with. Busy, I want to say that I introduced you to our guest today, to his Instagram. Is that correct? I want to take credit for it.
I think you maybe did. Although I think my friend Yashar also introduced me.
Okay.
I had a few people that were sending me because Dr. Truesdale is our guest. And I became... I don't know what the algorithm is, and I don't know if you know Dr. Truesdale, but I do know that I turned 46 next week, and about 2 months ago, my entire algorithm turned to facelifts.
It's listening.
Why did my Instagram know that I had a birthday coming up? Because
that's hilarious.
It is kind of hilarious, but then I became like, and then of course, we've got the Kris Jenner deep plane face. Now, it feels like everybody in the world is talking about deep plane facelifts.
Yeah. I mean, people want to look and feel their best. So, I'm at the tip of the spear when it comes to anti-aging and making people feel good. So yeah, thank you guys so much for having me on. I love that you guys have seen my work and what I do. The algorithm is working.
What do you like to be called? Do you like to be called Dr. Truesdale? Do you like to be called Dr. Carl? Do you like to be called
good.
My son, Dr. Truesdale, because you did work on your mom that went viral?
I like Dr. Truesdale. It has a nice panache to it, right? It sounds nice.
Yes,
I mean,
Dr. Truesdale.
So Hollywood. I feel like it's like I would, if I was writing a movie about a great plastic surgeon, I'd name him Dr. Truesdale.
We can write that movie.
You know what is so funny is that, like, I don't think you have any idea, and Busy, I hope you don't mind me saying, but like, you use Instagram and you have like what you put out on the gram, but then you have like what you share with your close friends, which is usually like pictures of your kids or, just things that you don't want to blast out to the world. And a lot of our close friends on Instagram is just clips from your Instagram. Like, look at this one, he did it again.
Casey is she's trying to not blow up my spot. What she wants to say, Dr. Truesdale, is that my close friend's Instagram is exclusively before and afters from your page and a couple other doctors that I have been following on their deep plane facelift journeys. And
I probably know them. That's awesome. That's great. Thank you.
I'm sure you do. Yeah. I mean, I imagine like it's a fairly tight-knit, tight-lifted community.
Tight-knit is a little bit of a stretch, but it's a small community for sure.
A small community. Yeah. That's what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Tight-knit and stretch. We have so many plastic surgery puns happening right now that we're not even unintentional.
I like that.
Are you seeing a huge bump in requests for consultations for deep plane facelifts in the last 2 years?
I mean, my practice has been around for about 4 or 5 years. So my whole practice has just been going up since the beginning. So it's hard for me to know how much is industry versus my practice exploding. Overall, though, when we look at people interested, the trends in plastic surgery, there are more people interested today.
Right.
Because it looks better than it used to look. Right. So people are interested in that.
And also, is the social media element of it such a huge part of what is driving people to
100%?
Yeah.
I mean, that's my whole business. Kind of the reason why I'm where I am today is because people can see the work. And so the difference before, right, if you do a beautiful facelift, only the people who know that person can see that work. Now, if I put something out, 15 million people can see it. And it's like, wow, that's amazing. They can reach out and you can create community and they can learn more about you. So there's a lot of power, but there's also like a dark side to it, right? Because there's like unethical, advertisements and things like that. Overall, we're in the way I perceive plastic surgery is to make people feel good and improve their life. The other side of it, though, is like people get obsessed about the way they look and they might have the wrong motivations or maybe they go to the wrong person. So it's complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine that you're doing a good deal of sort of like counseling, like social work with people, making sure that, that they are really coming to you for the right reasons. I would assume, because
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, what I do is surgery, but it's also psychiatry, right? Because any person who comes to me, I have to kind of understand, are they in the right headspace? Because I tell everybody, I want to do safe, beautiful, natural, and make people happy. If I can make them happy by making them look 20 years younger, great. But if there's something else going on inside of them, then it's a world of hurt, right? And like, they're not happy, I'm not happy, not a good situation.
Right.
I have noticed on your feed, well, I mean, I imagine it's also just the most dramatic of first of all, the facelift rejuvenation that you did on your own mom, which is honestly so cute to me.
Oh, thank you.
Did you feel pressure? Like, you know what I mean?
I live in the pressure space. So every day people give me money to cut their faces. So it's like,
yes.
I live in the pressure world. But, the difference is like the difference between pressure and fear, right? Because I didn't feel fearful. It's understanding. And so I know plastic surgery. I've dedicated my life to it. Whenever I'm taking care of anyone's mom, it's like, I don't want anything bad to happen. With my mom, it's like, listen, I can't go to Thanksgiving and people, people are like, oh, what did you do to mom? So, it's a different level of pressure, but it all worked out.
I've found like on your page that you have really dramatic results a lot of times due to the fact that I think you see patients that are a little bit older. I mean,
I see everybody, but
you see everybody, but the ones that you post, maybe.
A lot. It's interesting. I post probably 5% of what I do. I do probably 4 or 5 facelifts a week. It's crazy. And, a lot of younger patients don't let me post.
Right. That was my question. My question was that if it was just a case of, just when people are younger, they want it to be kind of like a between you and
it's a selection bias, right? Like you're young, you're pretty, you're used to looking young. You don't want people to know that you've aged. And so what happens when I do surgery is they look like they've went back in time, and everyone around them is getting older while they're sitting, drinking the fountain of youth, basically.
Right.
So they blame it on their yoga and their Pilates and,
Japanese sweet potatoes.
Exactly.
Japanese sweet potatoes, yes. Oh, and gua sha. I know people are always like, no, I'm just doing face yoga and like massaging my face. And I'm like,
yeah, it's fish sperm, it's the red.
Oh my God. Okay, so here's my question. Are you seeing a lot more men than when you first opened your practice?
I am. It's really dependent. It's interesting. Who I see more of is somewhat dependent on what I post. So I've done several men recently and posted them. Men are even more like they don't want people to know a lot of times. But when I post them, men feel empowered. Most of the men that I do, believe it or not, it's their wives who I start with.
Right. That makes makes sense.
Listen, she looks too good. Now I need to look good. I'm worried about her. I want to feel good too.
Yeah.
Oh
that actually really makes sense to me. What I think is, I mean, just in the men that I've seen you post, I've seen men in real life where it's very obvious that they've had facelifts. And I do think your work is so natural. And these men just look like age appropriate. They don't look so pulled tight and like they look good. It's it's a fine line, I guess, that you gotta.
It is. And the line is like making a man look like a woman, right? So in plastic surgery, if you do a millimeter or two the wrong direction in a man, they start looking feminized. So it's a little bit more nuanced and tricky. But yeah, I just posted one last night, actually, a guy that I did. So I'm sure we'll get calls today from men.
Do you do your own social media?
So I have, in the beginning, for the first 2 years of my practice, it was just me doing everything. Like even today, I still edit videos, but I've got 2 in-house people who, basically they're fantastic. They've been, basically taking the reins from me. So a lot of the videos in the morning when you see me doing the 360, I'm taking it with my phone, but I'll give it to them and they'll put a reel together.
Sure. Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
That's good. I like you to focus on the surgery and not have to worry about putting out the content. So talk to us about, we're talking about deep plane facelifts, and that's like a term that I've seen people talking about over the past few years. And then, of course, as we mentioned, Kris Jenner comes out, looking like she really took a time machine back in time. And everybody's speculating on what she's had done. And so then I'm starting to hear about this thing. Some people are speculating about a ponytail lift. That's a thing I had never heard of
She
before.
she already said what she did and then who the doctor is. And then also, then his prices went up like over $100,000 like overnight.
I'm sure. Yeah. I mean,
which seems crazy.
The game that we're in, right? We're both doctors, right? We take care of people, but also there's art to it. And there's not that many people on earth who can pull off a beautiful, time machine, right? It's like, what would you pay for a time machine? Like, that's really what the question is. And it's your face. And so it's like, don't maim me. don't kill me, but make me look 20, 30 years younger. It's pretty magical. So I'm sure his prices did go up. He did a great job with her. So I think your question was like, what is the facelift? What is the deep plane facelift?
Yeah, like what's the difference between deep plane and ponytail lift?
Well, there's like
ponytail lift.
Isn't the ponytail the temporal brow lift? Also?
Yeah, so ponytail is a version of a brow lift. So we make it really hard for patients because we create all these terms like.
Well, does each doctor have their own term?
Yeah, they trademark terms. I have not done that yet because it feels a little funny and markety. But like oral lift, 2-stitch facelift, vertical lift facelift, vertical restore. Like there's all these names, and really, I think a lot of times it just confuses people.
Yeah,
right. So a ponytail facelift is an endoscopic style brow lift, right? There's a doctor here in LA who he's like kind of coined that term, and he has different versions of a ponytail lift, and depending on the one that you're talking about, it's basically an endoscopic style lift, meaning you're not cutting the skin, lifting everything up, you're cutting the skin and getting under with a camera and then lifting things up. So there's different ways of skinning the cat, and it really depends on the person's anatomy and their goals and which version you use.
Do you see like younger patients getting things that are less invasive than the deep plane, or do you?
So yeah, of course. I mean, if you're 28 and you just want a little bit of volume, maybe they'll get some filler. But once they get around, 35, 40, there's a limit to what you can do with, the minimally invasive treatments. And I think people today are understanding more is sometimes more. Mm-hmm. So to get a more beautiful, natural looking result, you can't just pump the face full of filler. Sometimes you need to just lift it.
Right. Well, I have a question. Okay, because I don't have, I'm like, let's just talk about me. This is just a consultation now at this point. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, but I've never had, I used to have more fat in my face before I had children, but I lost it after my kids. So I've always thought that I've never had any filler put in my face. And I've always thought that what I would eventually do is a facelift. But now I'm hearing people, like I said, I'm turning 46 and people are like, well, you got to do it now. You have to do it this year. This year's the year. And I'm like, wait, what is it? I thought I had like 10 years and then I would do it. But what is your professional opinion? And I know it's probably like case by case basis.
Yeah, it is.
But
I'd love to talk about this stuff. Obviously, I love what I do. So typically, let me step back first and say, when a person comes to me for consultation, it is like the most intimate type of session you can imagine, right? Because a person is kind of baring their soul, talking about their insecurities, and it's really about their face and where they are. You are very public, and you, right? And I think your followers love you for your transparency. So I'm happy to talk to you about your face, but it's just a caveat that this is different than how I usually do things, right?
Right. Oh, we don't even have to talk about my face. I'm asking more like just in general, like I was kind of teasing about my consultation. I was just talking more in general about hearing that you should be getting these procedures done younger rather than waiting.
Yeah. It's not true and it's not false. So what I'll tell you is it depends on your goal, right? And how often you're looking in the mirror and you're kind of doing this, or how often you're thinking about your aging, right? There's a limit to what, good skincare regimen and eating well and makeup and concealer can do. Sometimes you just have to put the anatomy back to where it was. Now, there is something to be said for doing it younger, because when you do it younger, you don't go through this huge, like, oh my God, she was jolly and she looked super old and now she looks young. Obviously, she had plastic surgery. It's a more subtle thing that happens. So a person.
So you really can just say that it's face yoga.
Right, exactly. So if you want if I do a facelift on someone who's 46, I will make them look like they're, I don't know, sometimes they look like they're 30 years old, 31. And so what will happen is their friends around them will be like, girl, you look good. Like, what'd you do? And they'll be like, yeah, yoga. I just got an Equinox membership. But what will happen is they'll stay looking young while their friends continue to age. And so if that person is bothered by facial aging and they've maxed out and they understand the risks, then we do surgery, and that helps them feel great because it can achieve something different than the minimally invasive things. If it doesn't bother you, then don't do it, because this is candy, right? Like, I used to take out head and neck cancer and do emergency airway surgery. Now I make people look great, right? So the bar is different. And so 95% of what I do, unless it's reconstructive stuff, people don't need. So I turn people away all the time because either all the time. Listen, the money's not worth it. They would not benefit because they're not there yet. Or I think that in a year or two, their facial aging will be worth the scar that I need to put there. Even if the scar is beautiful and hard to find, it's still a scar, right? And so sometimes the person's not quite there ready mentally, sometimes physically. And in that case, we just negotiate, and I'm honest.
That's interesting. No, my listeners know, I live in New York. I went to several of the top ocular people here, and all of them were like, yeah, no, we're not, I don't want to do that. I don't want to cut your eyes. I don't want to give you a lower bleph. That's not what you need. They almost universally had I got the same opinion from all the doctors, which was like, you're not there yet. No.
And the reason why is, well, I don't know specifically, but there's a risk and a benefit with everything we do, right? And so the juice has to be worth the squeeze. And also it's colored through the lens of what can that surgeon do, right? And so if that surgeon doesn't feel that they can make you look good or make you happy, I would rather turn you away than do something and then you be unhappy, right?
Right.
The other nuance is you've got millions of people who love you, right? If you don't like it, right, the consequences are different when you're dealing with celebrities.
Right. Well, because the rewards could be greater, i.e. celebrity patients or getting, your mom going viral, or some of your other patients who've gone viral as well. Having that kind of press is obviously beneficial for a plastic surgeon. But yeah, I imagine if you were a person who then who's a celebrity or whatever, and you're like, I was botched, by this.
Right.
Yeah,
well, even just mentally, even if people don't know who you are, imagine you botched a celebrity, and then all the comments are like, "Oh my God, she looks awful." We're people. We have egos.
Right. Well, you're probably too young to remember, Dr. Truesdale, but it was kind of a thing in the 80s and 90s, older celebrity women doing press saying yeah, I got a nerve. I went in for a facelift and I got a nerve cut, and now I can't move the left side of my face. It was it was more than one celebrity woman. I worked for Joan Rivers for years. So you know that she loved to talk about plastic surgery. She luckily, I think her work was very good. And, I know that it was the subject of a lot of her jokes, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everything has consequences. And so again, back to the point is, I have a very, very, very low complication rate. And so, but it's still medicine. And so, there are things that you can control and you can't control. So it has to be worth it. It's complications like nerve damage. That's super, super, super uncommon, even with people who aren't fantastic surgeons.
Yeah, it seems much more rare nowadays.
Yeah, well, the surgeries have gotten so much better for the face rejuvenation, I would say, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, we understand the anatomy better. And I think also it demands people to be better, right? And so if the standard of care is set here, then you no longer can just be a hack shop and because people also see this stuff on Instagram. And it's just the difference of getting on a plane and coming to see me. You might live in Illinois or New York, but 80%, 90% of my patients fly from out of town. So, why would you go to the guy down the street where, the woman can't move her face and she doesn't look good when you can go see Dr. Truesdale in LA, right?
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, it's a good point. How the majority of your patients do you think are from out of town?
Oh yeah, 90%.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And not just out of town, from all over the world. It's pretty awesome.
That is cool.
That is
really How long do they need to come into town for?
Most people are in town for about 9 days.
That's it? And then they go home?
Yeah, then they go home.
Gosh. And then do you see them again or do they send a video?
Of course, I'm with them for life, right?
I don't
know.
Yeah,
We've never done this.
So I typically follow up with people at 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and 1 year.
Okay. And then do you ever like make other tweaks, or is it like once it's done, it's done?
Oh, no. I mean, people come back for more things. I think so. I'm a portrait artist. So like part of the reason why my work looks different is because I bring art and kind of an artist perspective. But sometimes a person will come in and they're like, Doc, I just want a facelift and some fat transfer. And I'll say, okay, but like, like your eyes also are part of the equation. I'll do the facelift, the fat transfer. They'll look amazing from here down. And then they'll come back later and I'll do their eyes. Or, so everyone is kind of in a different place. It's like everyone's a snowflake. So, people definitely come back, or, I'll do a facelift for someone and they might live in New York, but they'll come back every 4 months just for Botox because they only trust me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a sign of, a really beloved, great doctor and a good relationship, obviously.
Oh, thank you. I've got great patience.
Do you just focus on the face in your surgery, or do you do body as well?
I just do face. Just from the shoulders up.
Just from the shoulders up. Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, to do something well, you really need to. I mean, there are body doctors who can do a decent facelift, but when I look at beautiful, transcendent work, very, 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 very few, body plastic surgeons are at the top of the game in terms of the face. And so, not to say that they can't do it, but this is what I do every single day. It's all I think about is the face.
And the anatomy of the face and the muscles and the things. Do you do other facelifts other than the deep plane in your personally?
Yeah. So I can do, I can do any type of facelift. And so it really depends on what that person's goal is. Sometimes it might be an endoscopic, mid facelift. I can do a SMAS lift.
A what lift? A what? What was that one?
So a SMAS lift. So it's basically I think this is what people are saying Jenner had, even though I don't know. SMAS is the muscle layer, right? It's the fascia that kind of goes along with the muscle. And so whenever I'm doing a deep plane, I'm one level deeper than that and freeing that layer, the ligaments completely away so that I can move everything up naturally, right? A SMAS lift is you're disconnecting the skin and you're tugging that layer rather than fully freeing it. And so if someone is old, or if someone's already had a facelift and it's been dissected, or their SMAS is super mobile, you can do that type of facelift. Or if someone has say they have silicone in their face and you're worried about nerve damage and more extensive dissection, maybe you'll do a SMAS lift. But my go-to is the deep plane, but I can do anything in the face.
Wow. And I'm curious, I'm hearing a lot about endo lifts. I know you explained a little bit about what it is, but I'm confused from what I've seen on social media, and I'm very interested in what that is.
Yeah, so not everyone is a candidate for an endoscopic lift. What it means is you're making small incisions to get in a little telescope camera, and then you're lifting things up and then moving them. So rather than making a formal longer incision, lifting up the skin and then approaching it from kind of this way, you're doing the same kind of lift, but you're not removing skin. You're redistributing where things lie. And so you could do that in the brow, you could do that in the cheek, and the lower face. It's tricky and it's nuanced, but it is possible. Typically, people who are looking at that have, they don't want scars, or they don't want, more visible scars. And they don't have that much laxity, because when I move everything up, right, there's extra skin. And if I move it a lot, then that skin needs to be cut away.
Okay. So is it better typically on younger patients?
It's really case by case, but yes, it's more of a younger patient type thing.
Yeah. Interesting. And what about people that have like Ehlers-Danlos, Casey?
Yeah. So it's connective tissue disorder. So, basically their collagen, they have issues with producing collagen. And so their skin can be really, really loose. Ehlers-Danlos is tricky because they look like they've kind of aged, more advanced than what they are. But their collagen, their tissue, their blood vessels, none of that stuff is the same. And so I haven't done a lift on someone with Ehlers-Danlos, and plastic literature says, be careful with these people, because you can do a lift, and then what can happen is it doesn't change their innate structure, right? They still have issues with collagen and, basically the elasticity of their face. And so you could do a lift and then get recurrence of the looseness, or maybe bleeding because the collagen that's around the blood vessels doesn't cooperate. And so, it's trickier.
Right.
Yeah.
I have Ehlers-Danlos, and I feel like I've been pretty lucky, or I could be delusional. That's either. But I don't think that I have gotten super wrinkly, but my skin is really stretchy. So that's what I've always wondered is
but people with Ehlers don't get wrinkles.
Huh?
You don't you don't necessarily get wrinkles with Ehlers, but you do have more skin
laxity.
Laxity.
Yes.
But there is a thing about people with Ehlers not having the same kind of wrinkles.
It's different. Yeah, 100%.
It's different.
So, I can get super technical in terms of, how skin moves in terms of resting tension lines and, forces and tensioning. But yes, the great thing about the newer techniques of facelift is that it's really primarily done on a muscle layer. So the skin is coming along for the ride. So if someone was having a facelift and had Ehlers-Danlos, you would want to do a deep plane facelift. That's how I would approach it. But yeah, it's no, I can still do a facelift at you.
I'm just like, would it be like you just keep pulling and pulling, and my face would just keep stretching and stretching like silly putty,
like Laffy Taffy?
Yeah, I'm like, maybe I just lay down and only let people look at me laying down.
Well, that's so interesting, because that's what I tell people a facelift does is you take a mirror and you hold it up and you're lying on bed. Now, facelift is taking gravity out of the equation. And so everyone looks better when they're lying on their back.
Which is how sex continues to happen in some cases, I'd imagine. You're like,
or you turn the light off in some cases. Yeah. So,
you're like, if I can lay down, I guess I feel good about this. Let's
go.
That is so funny. Well, can I ask a question about, I work with performers, but I'm not necessarily on camera myself a whole bunch. So like, I think that I'm in a different category of thought. Like, I'm like, if I came into a bunch of money one day when I was like a little bit older and I had the time, would I do it? Maybe. I'm kind of agnostic about it. But whereas a lot of performers I know, when they feel like I really should do this for my career or whatever, I'm like, yeah, I get that, because like your face is your business, But I'd imagine that a lot of people are sort of in the same boat that I am, where they're curious from someone who does this every day for a living, and you really, really know what you're talking about. I know that you said that at some point there's like surgery is the only thing that's going to help. But for like regular people at home, what are the things that, in your opinion, are the most important that we should be doing to sort of hold on to what we have the best we can before surgical intervention is the only option?
I'll go a step further. It's what you should do to prevent surgery. But even if you have surgery, some of the things that I'm about to say will help you. So the number one offender of aging is the sun. And so sunblock. It sounds super simple, but the sun causes, damage to our DNA, which makes us age. And so if you can protect yourself from the sun, then that's number one. Number two is really good skincare. Believe it or not, I'm about to launch my own. This is the first announcement I've actually made of this. I'm about to drop my own medical grade skincare line named Artisa September 1st this year. But a really good skincare line is the next step, right? You want something that is antioxidant. You want something that is cleansing. You want something that is hydrating and anti-aging as well, right? Complex proteins that work well with your skin.
Yeah.
In addition to those things, right, you take a step up, and then you're looking at things like chemical peels and lasers. Those are things that help boost collagen. And so as we age, we lose collagen and elastin, and those are some of the things that make our face look older. So if you can boost those things, you stay in the game longer, with or without surgery.
Also, some of the lasers I know actually are preventative or helpful to prevent against cancer, right?
Yeah, I
like
mean, you
some
can use
melanomas.
lasers to treat certain types of cancers for 100%.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you have a little small basal cell, you can use a CO2 laser, burn it off, right?
Right.
But it's not, if you have a spot, I should say this because a lot of people are watching this. You have a spot, you should get a skin check, see your dermatologist, get an annual kind of skin check. But yeah, I mean, it can prolong you from needing an intervention from the perspective of the skin. For the deeper layers, right, the fat and the muscle, that's usually a surgical thing.
And what about do you like the LED face masks and lights that people have?
So red light therapy is a real thing and it works.
Yeah.
Is it going to be from 0 to 100? No, but it can help boost your body. And so the way I think about all these little things are we're fighting a war against time and against age. And we want all of our soldiers in the battle, right? So if it's a red light therapy, if it's cryotherapy, if it's lymphatic massage, if it's, hyperbaric oxygen, eating well, all of those things come into play. And so I want to look good as long as I can.
Yes. Me
too.
You
You do look good.
Yeah, you look great.
Thank you.
Are you walking around doing all of this stuff?
Absolutely. It's funny because, I'm Black, but people are like, oh, Black people don't use sunblock. I use sunblock every day. I have to drink the Kool-Aid, right? I'm at the pulpit. I got to preach. I got to, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, sunblock's important. We know that.
I got Botox
number
working.
one.
You see that?
You got Botox working? Oh my God. I've never gotten Botox. I'm Botox curious. This could be the year.
It's a beautiful drug. Yeah, no, I mean, it's, neurotoxin in general. It doesn't have to be Botox. Actually, this isn't Botox, it's Latibo. But, it helps with fine lines and wrinkles. And so if you do it, I'm not that old. I'm not that young. But the idea is that I don't want resting lines. And so it's a little bit of a prejuvenation thing. Do it now. Obviously, I still have motion, right? I can emote and it looks natural. But my forehead is smooth, you see?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
He's showing us his forehead. It is indeed smooth.
Yes, it is. Well, Dr. Truesdale, we know that you have a very busy practice, and we thank you so much for taking the time and talking to us about our favorite topic on our close friends Instagram.
Yes.
Your deep plane facelifts.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Honestly, it's an honor. Thank you for reaching out to me.
And I love that we got the scoop on the skincare coming soon.
It's going to be dope. It's going to be really cool. I'm super excited about it.
That is exciting.
So I'll give you. I'll send it to you guys. You guys will
please.
Get early.
I'm a big skincare girl.
You're going to love this. So it's on par, if not better than all of the stuff that's on the market right now. And I personally designed. It's not white label. A lot of times it's like a doctor getting on and oh, I bought the formulation. It's not that situation.
You did the work.
I did the work.
Amazing.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I
can't wait
that.
to try it.
I love everything about your practice. And truly, you are the star of Busy's Close Friends on Instagram. You're also the star of one of my girlfriend group chats. We have alerts for when you post something, and that keeps us talking all day. You're the glue that holds my group chat together. So grateful for all the content, because also what you do is really joyful. You just have a lot of joy around the work that you do. And I was especially just really touched by your relationship with your mom. And she was gorgeous. She is gorgeous. And just
thank you so much.
Amazing job. She must be so proud of you.
She is. Yeah, no, she loves the attention too. It's I just wanted to go get my nails done and they recognized me. I'm like, oh.
Oh my God, I love that. I love that for her.
Yeah, it's great.
All right. Well, thanks, Dr. Truesdale.
Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I have the best news about Goodles, because you know how much we love Goodles. It's the nutrient protein-packed mac and cheese that we love it. It's been a staple in both of our households. Well, now Goodles got even better because they launched single-serve cups, which in my household is everything, because it's everything that we love about the boxed mac, but it's a convenient on-the-go cup, which, let me tell you something, I've got 2 children, kids, teenagers, who enjoy an on-the-go cup of the Goodles mac and cheese. It's kind of a game changer. Also for me, the days where I don't want to make a full box on the stove because I'm not going to eat it all. You know what I mean? You just add water, you microwave it, and then you've got a delicious and nutritious snack, or maybe it's your meal, maybe it's a side to a protein. I don't know what you're doing. And, if you're a person who works in an office, come on. You get the Goodles cups, just keep them in your car, honey. Maybe you forget lunch one day, you're like, don't worry about it, I got a Goodles cup. They're launching in 2 of my favorite flavors, Chetty Mac and Shella Good. And they taste just as good as the box version. I've been eating them, but without, doing dishes. So that's a plus for me. Anyway, Goodles is so creamy and cheesy. I'm obsessed with it. And I'm obsessed that it has 14 grams of protein, 7 grams of fiber with prebiotics, 21 vitamins and minerals from real plant sources. Guys, it's a low glycemic index food, which means it provides steady energy instead of a carb crash. And on top of that, it's kosher and clean label purity award certified. There's really something for everyone with their amazing variety of flavors. Plus, they've got vegan, gluten-free options. Goodles is the best. You know that we're obsessed with Goodles, and we know that you're going to love it too. Pick up Goodles on your next shopping trip. Look for the single-serve cups. You're going to love them. It's available nationwide at Target and Walmart, plus many other major grocery stores and retailers. They have it at my corner store here in New York City. So check it out. Look for Goodles. And don't forget the new single-serve cups. Well, it's summer. It's summer, and you know what happens in the summer. You're losing more electrolytes. Is that factual? I don't know, but it feels like it because you're sweating more. And when you sweat, you lose electrolytes. And you know how important it is to replenish electrolytes? It's important for everyone, even if you're not an athlete, especially if you're not an athlete. It really is something that, I think a lot of us don't think about. But I'm a sweater. You know that. I sweat a lot. If you are like me and you're sweating up a storm, please know that you need to replenish your electrolytes. Do you ever get the thing where you're like, I'm having a cramp in my calf? Or oh my God, I have such a weird headache out of nowhere at 3 p.m. Electrolytes, try it, try it, try it. Maybe you had a couple glasses of wine the night before and you wake up the next day and you're like, not feeling great. Element to the rescue. Element is a tasty electrolyte drink mix with everything you need, nothing you don't. That means a lot of salt and no sugar. It contains a science-backed electrolyte ratio, 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, 60 milligrams of magnesium. No junk, no sugar, no coloring, no artificial ingredients, no gluten, no fillers, no BS. Element is formulated to help anyone with their electrolyte needs and is perfectly suited for people following keto or low carb or paleo diets. Like I said, electrolytes facilitate hundreds of functions in the body, including the conduction of nerve impulses, hormonal regulation, nutrient absorption, and fluid balance. I mean, I'm going to be very real with you. Sometimes I'm a little overly emotional and I have an element with my water and then I feel better. I don't know what it is, guys, but I'm just telling you, it's not magic, but it is electrolytes and I highly recommend you try it. It's a real thing. Right now, Element is offering you, our listeners, a free sample pack with any drink mix purchase. It's 8 single-serving packets free with any Element drink mix purchase. That's a great way to try all 8 flavors, or you can share Element with a salty friend. Get yours at drinklmnt.com/best. This deal only available through our link. You must go to drinklmnt.com/best. That's drinkelement.com/best. best. Also, try it totally risk-free. If you don't like it, you can just share it with a salty friend and they're going to give you your money back. No questions asked. You literally have nothing to lose.
He's so nice.
He's so nice. Wait, so here's what I'm doing. I'm taking the kids to see John Proctor tomorrow. I'm excited about that. And then we're going to one of the last performances of Oh Mary that Cole is going to be in.
Oh, that's great.
Because Cole is leaving the show this weekend.
Oh, and Titus is going back in, right?
And Titus is going back in. Yes, correct. Yeah. So all cricket requested was to see them one last time before they go. So we're doing that. I really want to see Sunset Boulevard. She leaves, or the whole show closes, I think, the end of July.
Okay.
So I'm going to be heading to LA on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be there for a few weeks with the kids. And then I think I will be able to see Sunset Boulevard when I get back with her before she goes. And then I don't know. I'm probably going to miss Floyd Collins. I don't know. I'm trying to see as much theater as I can. But theater's so expensive though, too.
It's so expensive.
But I'm like, support the arts.
I know it's hard. Oh, here's what I will say. Like, people don't really think of LA as a theater town, but it really is. And like the touring companies all come here, or, sometimes it's like their first stop. And it's very reasonable here. So I love to go see something at the Amundsen or the Mark Taper Forum. And the tickets are reasonable. I just saw the guy from the Pit in Hamlet, and it was super fun and great. And I'm going to see like Parade this week or whatever.
Yeah. I missed Parade when I was here. But I went and saw The Connector last night, the concert of The Connector, which was Jason Robert Brown. Is that his name? Last 5 years guy. And that was the one that Ben Ross starred in at the MCC, but it didn't go to Broadway. It didn't move to Broadway. And it was like, he did Last 5 years. That guy did Last 5 years with Daisy Prince. Yeah. But then they didn't work together again until The Connector. I really liked The Connector, but it didn't move to Broadway. And like that, I think, from what I understand from people, like that has to do a lot with like the reviews that it gets from the New York Times.
Yeah.
And so anyway, it didn't. But like Ben is such a huge star. And there's this girl, Hannah Cruz, in it that then moved to Suffs from The Connector. And her voice is insane. And she is in the Richard Linklater version of Merrily We Roll Along. Merrily. And you know that Richard Linklater is doing that thing that he always does in movies where like they're filming it over the next 20 or like 15 years.
Oh my God.
Because Merrily is about like friends that age.
Yeah.
It's the Sondheim musical guys that Daniel Radcliffe and Jonathan Groff starred in. And I didn't know the actress, but she was incredible. Everybody loved her. Did she win a Tony last year? Maybe. Anyway. But they're making it into a movie. Richard Linklater is making it into a movie. And this girl, Hannah, is going to be one of the stars of it. And they're filming it over the next 15 years. So I look forward to seeing it when I'm in my 60s.
Wow, yeah.
And I'll probably be crying.
His other movie that he filmed over a number of years. It's interesting.
Boyhood?
Huh?
Was it Boyhood?
Boyhood, yeah. Yeah.
I love his movies. I think he's so cool.
Yeah. Some of my friends from college worked for him.
He was at the thing last night.
Oh, cool.
Well, I didn't see him, but Hannah told me he was there. And she was like, look, he's right. Oh, I guess he left. Or he was right here. And I was like, oh, okay. Right. But anyway, Ben was such a little star. And there is nothing I love more than seeing my friends be the most talented humans alive. It is so cool.
It is.
And I was truly like, I wish somebody could have just captured my face because I was like so proud and like it was so cool to see him doing that show again. And the money, it was like a concert, a benefit concert, benefiting the Committee to Protect Journalists, which now more than ever.
Also important. Also, some journalists got roughed up in those.
Very important. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then I guess should I reveal the big news for the summer for me and Birdie?
Sure.
Do we have time? Because I have to go to that fitting. So when I was a teenager, I did Actors Lab of Arizona, which was, oh my God, I have to go all the way back up to I was on the Upper East Side earlier, and now I have to go back to the Upper East Side. You guys, I'm not thrilled about this turn of events. Anyway, so when I was a teenager, I did this like after school theater program called Actors Lab of Arizona. Jan Sickler was my like theater teacher, and I just adored her. And this kid, he was like 2 years younger than me. So I think I met him when he was 13 and I was 15. Mike Zara started doing Actors Lab with us. And he was just a real sweet little buddy. And I always adored him. And then he ended up going to LMU too. But I think at that point I had left because I was on Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah.
Because he would have been 2 years, I think he's 2 years younger than me. So right, because I left after my sophomore year. So anyway, I've seen Mike over the years in LA and we've like kept in touch. He's worked his way up and been a writer and wrote on, Major Crimes, that show that was on TNT for many years. And he's done a lot of animated stuff. And he's asked me over the years to do some stuff for him. And like, when I've been able to, but like I haven't been able to do that many things. And so then I get this like text from him and he's like, listen, I have this like meta camp horror comedy that I have financed. And Ron Perlman is doing it. Jim Rash is in it. Amy Teagarden, who's, from Friday Night Lights, is like the lead girl. And I have been dying. Like I wrote this part for you 11 years ago, this other part in the movie.
Yeah.
And I would do anything for you to do it. Well, part of the complication, I think I can talk about this a little bit. I don't have to say what it's happening, but Mark's making a movie.
Yeah.
Which is very exciting. Their movie got greenlit. And so he's going to be filming in New York this summer, which means that like I'm with the kids. And when Mike had reached out to me, I was like, well, listen, I actually don't know if I can do it because we're waiting to see, we should know like today or tomorrow if Mark's making this movie. If he is, I'm like full-time parent for the summer and I need to like, the kids already have some plans and like I can't skip out on it or whatever. And then he was like, I totally get it. Let me, whatever. And he'd already sent me the script. And then he was like, wait, tell me, like, how are the kids? Like, is Birdie like a grown-up? And then I sent him her headshots that she just got taken. And then he wrote back, wait a minute, does Birdie want to be this part in the movie? Because there's a part in the horror movie, like basically for a teenage girl. And then I was like, well, maybe. Let's see.
Yeah.
So Birdie and I are doing a horror movie together.
Amazing.
Although I don't think we really act together.
That's okay. That's probably even better.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Well, 100%. Let's be real.
Yeah.
But she's super excited. I'm not going to tell you if we get killed, either one of us.
You have to go see it.
Yeah. But it's really great. Like the script is great. I'm just amazing. So proud of Mike and like to be able to write and direct your first feature and to like get to work with someone that you've known since you were 13. Can you imagine?
I love it.
I know. Well, he was 13. I was 15. And guys, if you listen to this podcast or you know me at all, I hate horror movies. I hate them. Well, anyway, so that's the exciting news. We're excited about it. And Cricket's going to go spend a little bit of time with her cousins and my sister. Yeah, very cool.
That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a pretty cool summer.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Aw. That's amazing.
Yeah. But what are you doing your best at this week?
Well, as I said, trying not to spin out. I have like a little stomach virus that I'm trying to get over.
That's a bummer.
And trying not to spread to my fellow mankind because who needs a stomach virus on top of everything?
Were you able to like at least have a little bit of fun for Ashley's birthday, or did the stomach virus hit you there?
I had a really nice time. It was very nice. Our friend Ashley had her birthday and we just like kind of hung out and had like a girls' weekend. It was in town, so didn't have to travel anywhere. It was really nice. And like Matt was so great because we barely had any cell phone service where, because when you get up anywhere like above like street level or whatever, there's no cell service. And there was also like no parking and just everything. So Matt dropped me off and then he helped me carry in whatever. I had like brought some snacks and then he was almost all the way home and then we were like, there's no ice. We need ice. So he brought back ice and it was just very cute because he like when he brought the ice, he would only hand it in the door. He wouldn't like step into the house because he didn't want to ruin the sanctity of a girls' party. But yeah, it was pretty fun. It was fun. It's
God,
just
I love that.
good to like, sometimes it's fun to go to like a party where people are dancing and yelling over music sometimes, but sometimes it's really super fun to sit around a picnic table and just talk with your friends like in a chill way. And I feel like that was that plus the combination of like not having really great cell phone service was like I kind of needed it because I would have been probably checking my phone and that wouldn't have been great. So, so I'm just trying to make my way back from a little tummy trouble, but
I'm
not
sorry,
surprising.
babe. No, well, it's never surprising when we have stomach issues.
No. How about you?
You or me? Wait, but what are you doing your best at? Just
I'm
recovering?
doing my best to like just
not vom right now.
To not vomit and and to try not to spread it around,
Okay, great. I love that. What am I doing my best at? I don't know. I'm trying to remember. Oh my God. I'm trying to remember to breathe.
Yeah.
I am trying to remember that for real. Like, my therapist and I talked about it, like where I was like, okay, I need to like, when it gets overwhelming, I need to remember deep breaths will reground you. You need to like remember the tricks of like, your feet on the ground, feeling the back of your head and your back. And like, that's all you can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I think I learned a valuable lesson about credit cards on airplanes. I'm glad I know that now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you sure did. And you have your birthday coming up.
I know. Which I've been really struggling with that, but we can maybe talk about that next week when it's actually my birthday.
Okay. All right.
It's felt like, it's funny that we're talked to a plastic surgeon today. So it's not that I feel like I look old. Like, it's funny. Like, I just feel like, I don't know. Birdie said this funny thing at dinner the other night, and I was just not in a good mood to like be, like how sometimes with people that you love that are close to you, you wish you could go back in time and react differently to a thing they said because you realize that like you were just in the wrong frame of mind to hear it in that moment. And then you react in a certain way, and then it makes them react in a certain way. And then it's just like, you're like, ugh, like, why did I have to be kind of take that so personally when it's like actually was sort of an interesting question.
Yeah.
She was just like kind of teasing me because I was telling her like, oh, this babysitter is coming last night because Jen and I were going to see the connector thing. And I was like, but if you have dinner plans, Birdie, if you have dinner plans, like obviously, whatever, live your life. You're almost 17, you know?
Yeah.
And then she was like, well, you guys will be out pretty late, so I'll hang out with the babysitter. Like, you guys will be out. I'll hang out. I'm sure I'll get to hang out with the babysitter because you guys will be out pretty late, right? Because like you're single, so you're going to be like trolling for men.
Oh my God.
And I was like, Birdie, whatever. No, I'm not. And then she was like, but like, do you feel like this is the part where I didn't respond well to, and I wish I had, because it's really an interesting question. She's like, do you kind of just feel like a teenager again?
Oh, interesting.
And I was like, what I said was, no, actually right now I just feel really, really old. And I kind of got emotional about it, like I just did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I wished that I had really responded, because I think that's an interesting idea. And I think I do kind of feel like a teenager in dating in a way that like I was not prepared for, because it's like weird, you know?
If I may,
yes,
you can go back. You can go back and revisit that conversation, and you can be honest and say, I wish I had responded differently because it was a really interesting question. And we
kind of talked about it after.
Yeah.
But you know, also sometimes with Birdie, then it's like the moment's passed and she's like, yeah, I don't care anymore. And I'm like, okay, got it. You know what I mean? Like, which I also understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway. So what am I doing my best at? Unclear.
Just everything.
I do feel like we could change the name of the podcast, is all I'm saying. I do think in this moment, are any of us doing our best? Maybe.
Well, that's the point, right? Know. Like sometimes your best is kind of pitiful, and it's not always your fault. But sometimes,
you know, to your point earlier in the show, I fucking unpacked all 5 of those suitcases. I did as much laundry as I could. And then, honey, it was Monday morning and I sent that shit out.
Yeah. Listen, if you don't think that's doing your best, I don't know what to tell you, because that's a feat I've never accomplished.
Yeah. I mean, Birdie had 100% of the 5 suitcases were dirty clothes.
Yeah.
She's coming home from boarding school. It's like, I don't know when the last time these clothes have been washed. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's going on over there. Anyway, I guess I'm doing and you know what else?
What?
I made plans. For my birthday. Like I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling great.
Yeah.
And instead of leaning into being depressed, I'm not, and like I'm sad and I'm all the things. I was like, fuck it. I'm going to have a party. And so my friend Liv and I are having a little joint party at a bar thing. And like, I think that's great before I leave town. And like, I have a lot of friends here now, and that's really nice. I like that so much. And then you guys want to have a birthday dinner for me in LA. And that is really nice. And so that's making me feel very loved. I need to send my dad
definitely loved, even if we'll never agree on a restaurant. Just remember that wherever we end up having a birthday dinner, even if we did a bad job picking a restaurant, it was with love.
No, I know. But the one that Simran suggested, I TBH have never liked. And I think that I have given the impression that I've liked it because I think I've given that impression to people before.
Oh, okay. I know that we went there one time.
Yeah, I just don't like it. I don't like the food. Yeah. The drinks are pretty good.
Yeah. Listen, you know me, I could care. We could go to Wiener Schnitzel. So like whatever.
Not for my birthday, no.
Well, I'm just saying.
Emily was like, I'm so mad that Petty Cash isn't open anymore.
Right.
And I was like, why can't we just call that guy and be like, one night for me for my birthday? Come on. Do it at Republic, guy. Just give me the fucking Petty Cash. Give me my Petty Cash for one night.
Oh my gosh. That would
Maybe
be
I'll
amazing.
talk to that chef for my in 5 years for my 50th birthday. And I'll fly him to New York and get him to throw a huge rager.
That would be incredible.
It would be incredible.
Well, we'll figure it out. But please know that wherever you wanted to eat, I just want to celebrate your birthday and say happy birthday and that I love you. And
well, I hope you're better.
Well, exactly. I mean, listen, if I'm not feeling better, then it really won't matter to me what's for dinner.
No. All right, guys. Well, we hope you're hanging in there out there. I just got a text. That's crazy.
Who's texting you?
Sarah Sophie Flicker said that Brad Lander was just detained by the feds.
Ugh.
What the fuck? Why was he detained? I mean, they're just all such crooks. And the New York Times is trying to make sure that Zoran Mandani is fucked. Also, by the way, Zoran Mandani, his mother is Mira Nair. I just found that out. It is the most exciting thing to me of all time. Do you know the movie Monsoon Wedding? I literally have talked about this movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
That's fucking Zoran's mom. I just found that out last week.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know that, but I didn't know that.
All right. Well, everybody stay informed, stay safe. But if you find yourself just doom scrolling, maybe go somewhere where there's not great reception. I can't tell you how good it was to get a couple hours break from just, you don't need to know maybe every piece of information immediately in real time. I don't know that our brains were designed for that. I don't know that they're not, but mine isn't. So, if you can take a break and just take good care of yourself, don't get a stomach virus.
Please don't.
And yeah.
And we'll talk to you next week on my birthday week. My official birthday week.
Busy's official birthday.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it properly.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
It's gonna be proper.
We're definitely gonna do it.
All right, you guys, we'll talk to you soon.
We love you.
We love you. Bye.
Bye.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing my best.
Oh no.